Okay, we are going to take a quick review of the 6 rifles that I have in my collection of Schmidt Rubins. And the reason I have 2 of them up here is these are both 1889 rifles, and they were both manufactured in the year of 1893. These are the antique version, the original ones they started with. They have the huge box magazines that protrude out, and they have the older style bolts, and the actions are not that strong. They have the older style rear sights and are in the first type of, these use the first type of ammunition, which is 7.5 by 54.5, I believe. One's got a muzzle cover on it. And I will cover these guns more in detail. There's a lot of question about these, about the strength of them and if you can shoot them. But I will cover that once we review the guns, and I will do videos about reloading and shooting these older first model rifles. Okay, the next rifle we have here is it started off its life as a model 1889/1895, okay? And what that model was is that was the model that they converted or changed the bolt system. Okay, there were some changes. This gun originally, other than for the bolt, looked identical to the 1889. But, like I said, it started its life off there. Somewhere between 1916 and 1920s, this was converted into what it is now, a 1896/1911 rifle. And what they did is they changed the magazine to more of a flush-mounted one. They changed the rear sight from the old style sight, and basically converted this gun to a 1911 style rifle. And I will go over that more in detail, okay, where you can see the original guns that would be in this condition are rare and hard to find. Your 1889/1896 rifles, most of them were converted to this 1896/11. They had to change the stock and do some modifications, and I will cover that more when we get into the actual rifle itself. But this one is where they started to modify the bolt design and modernize this gun. And they kind of recycled the old guns to make them serviceable. So that's this one here. Alright, next up is the 1911 rifle. Okay, this particular one was manufactured in 1917. This is where they started making it with a pistol style grip, where the one modified, they added the grip on and changed, you know, the trigger guard from the older style with the extended magazine. But this is the one that was developed because they had a change in ammunition of higher pressure. So I will cover that more in detail when I go over a good review of this model of the gun. So basically what they say in the book is the more higher pressure ammunition can be used in this rifle, the 1911s, but these 3 here, even though the Swiss allowed these guns to stay in service and use the higher pressure ammo, it is not recommended to shoot it in these 3 rifles here. The 1911 ushered in a new era. These guns are rated for the normal ammunition that you will find. And the things about this gun is, this is when they came up with the magazine. It's almost flush mounted. It only protrudes a little bit, a 6-round magazine. They changed the rear sights to be regulated to the new ammo. But basically, that's about it. There were some modifications to the receiver and that, but I'll go over the details when I cover the rifle itself. Okay, so this is what, the important things you'd have to remember. But the 1911 is where they were getting into the more higher velocity ammunition that they used. And the gun is purpose built for it. Alright, next is the 1911 carbine. This also came about because of the ammunition change. The sights are regulated for the carbine length barrel and are a little bit different than the rifle sights. And this carbine has the 6-round, somewhat almost flush mount magazine, this smaller magazine. And also the front sight had protective ears added, okay, which the rifles didn't get that. So this here's, again, I believe this gun was built in 1916. And they had a few different carbines. One was made by Steyr, and one was a cut-down rifle. The Swiss would cut rifles down, and the other carbine models are quite rare, and I don't have any of those. But this replaced the I think the 1905, and there was another one that they made up. They made carbines up by cutting down the older rifles. This replaced all of that at that point in time. So there you go. Different type of sights, and that much shorter, handier weapon than the rifle, as you can see, and I will cover it all more in detail when we get to this gun. Okay, and lastly, the K31. This is probably the most popular and sought after model of the Swiss Schmidt Rubins that there is. This particular gun was manufactured in 1956, towards the end of the run. And this rifle replaced all the older ones in Swiss service over time. This is one of the most desirable ones of the bunch, and the price of these have gone up to crazy levels if you can find them. Okay, and this one here is practically mint. Paid what I thought at the time was a little more for it, but I've seen a lot of these that were used and beat up go for even more than what I sunk into this one. But this is a very nice example of a K31. And this gun is totally different than the older models. You can tell the magazine's a little different, and the receiver, because the bolt was modified, so the receiver and everything is compared to 1910. You see, it's totally different style weapon. But I will cover that more in detail as we go on. Let's see. But there we have it. There's our collection, and we will cover each model that I have and take a detailed look at them. I'll discuss making ammo for the older guns that's safe, and we'll probably get out and shoot. I do have some Swiss ammo. I bought a case of it, which can be safely shot in the K31 and the 1911s, I believe, with no problem. But we will see, and we'll do some shooting and testing and discuss reloading and discuss the different models and evolution of this very interesting rifle system. Okay, stay tuned, guys.